Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RC Plane Lab podcast. I'm Ron.
I'm Tom.
Today, we're sitting down with a friend of ours, Bob Ferry. Tommy, you and I have both known Bob for a few years now, and he has gotten really big into this hobby.
Yeah.
Even though he's fairly a newcomer to it, I guess, compared.
Well, I mean, he's been in 10 years at least now, right?
Since you were at Hobby over on 10th
That's
Street.
been at least 10 years ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm wrong about that. Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll kind of get into how you started.
Yeah, I'm a general contractor, and I've been wanting to fly for, I went to the hobby shop, going to buy my grandson a train, and I seen the airplane hanging up there, and I was like, man, that's what I want to do. And I had one of the guys that flies. He come in and he was like, well, if you don't buy it, I'm going to. And that's where it started.
So that's how it started. So general contractor here in the central Illinois where we live. Wife, kids, anything like that?
Wife, 3 kids.
Yeah. Any of the kids enjoying the hobby?
No, they got their own thing going on.
Got a grandson that was in it for a while, though.
Yeah, that was, I got a grandson, and that was something I was able to do quite a bit.
Cool.
And until he got a girlfriend.
Sweet. Well, Bob, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Until he got a girlfriend, by the way, if you caught that.
It happens.
It happens. He'll come back when he gets bored with it.
He will, hopefully, a few years, when he gets bored with girls. If he gets bored with girls.
I don't know about getting bored, but, there's more time.
Maybe he'll get married and then he'll never be in the hobby, and then maybe he'll come back to the hobby.
Or he'll get married and regret it and come back to the hobby and do nothing. Anyway.
Right.
So,
excuse me.
You doing okay?
I'm great.
All right. So, I guess, how long ago did you get in? Because I guess I'm off on my time frame. I thought you were like a few years after I did. Like what year? Do you have any idea when you started?
It was about 2000. If I'm guessing correctly, it would have been late 2012 because it was fall, right? When you came in looking for trains.
Yeah.
And so it was either late 2012 or early 13. It could have been like spring. It's been such a long time ago. I don't remember exactly.
Well, so you're like 6 months behind me is all then.
Yeah.
Because I started Father's Day in 2012.
Right.
So
yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yep. Yeah. Bob was a very loyal customer of ours at the shop there when we were doing that. And he's there's been no slowing him down since.
Yeah.
So when we talked to Reggie last time, we kind of talked about that being all encompassing of his life, this hobby. Bob takes that to another level. So,
well, but here's the thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to come to Bob's defense here.
No, it's a good thing when I say takes it to another level.
Some people out there may think differently, but Bob flies. Like when the weather's good, Bob is flying. And he takes every opportunity. And I wish I had the time to do that.
I was not saying it in a negative way.
When I first started flying, I would get up every morning, 5:30. I would be out the field before I went to work when no one was there, and I'd practice every day until I got good enough to be out there with everybody.
Oh,
see, you're probably better at flying than I am, honestly, because I've gotten so rusty.
He's pretty good.
I don't do much, especially compared to Bob.
Well, I don't know. I think a lot of it is just being calm and focused, and don't get when something doesn't look right, don't get excited. Just stay calm, and usually it works out for the better.
Yeah. And
you mean if something's wrong, you don't fly, as opposed to trying to fly?
I think that's what he's trying to say. Yeah.
Wow. If only somebody else would take that.
And let me tell you, Bob is religious about that too. If it's not right, Bob will not fly it. And I commend him for that because so many of us, it'll probably be okay. And some of us more than others.
It's good enough.
We know who I'm talking about.
Reggie. It's okay. He's not here to defend himself. We can say whatever we want to about him. I'm kidding.
I'm sorry, Reggie.
So about the same time as I have been in the hobby, I guess, minus 6 months, your purchases per day of airplanes has completely... Well, I mean, outpaced mine by many.
Purchases per day?
Well, it could be like 0.02 per day. I mean, and then it takes that long to get to one. Yeah. But anyway, so what everybody wants to know is, Bob, what's your number?
Well, I tried to count them. I believe I'm at 107.
That's
107.
Awesome.
So when you go to Bob's house, you can't help but to be overwhelmed and just in pure awe and joy of what you were seeing. Well, not the whole house. Okay, his storage area.
Okay,
Is that what you're trying to get to?
Like I've been to Bob's house quite a few times, and it's not like you would imagine. Like it's not just airplanes when you walk in, but he does a very good job of keeping them
contained
in their rooms where they stay. Like if he keeps the doors closed to those rooms, you wouldn't even know he was in the hobby. Honestly.
That is true.
Yeah,
but 107.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's an addiction. It's like you know I've got to have that one. I want this one. It's
they all speak to you differently.
Yeah, when you see one you like, you just like it. You can't. Sometimes you can't quantify it.
You can't say what it is about it, but there's just something. It's like I want it and I like it and I shall own it.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it like this. I tried to sell some, but it doesn't work for me.
It breaks your heart when
well, I took 3 of them to a swap meet and I came back with 5. So,
did you come back with the 3 that you went there with plus 2 more?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. No,
I assumed he got rid of the 3,
that.
and then
I totally get that. I was looking at Facebook the other day, and I think you might have pointed me in the direction, but it was a picture from the Decatur swap meet many years ago, and I had was it a Katana or whatever that was?
The one
you crashed?
Yeah.
And I did the same thing. I took it to the swap meet and brought it right back home, and then eventually, Ron ended up with it, but
and crashed it.
I know the feeling. You get attached to them, and some of them are easier to let go than others.
And some of them you're forced to let go.
Well,
but
sometimes
it happens.
It does occasionally.
Of those 107 airplanes, how many of them are ready to go fly?
Oh, man. I would say probably at least 90, 95.
That is awesome. Like, and Bob, you're kind of the type to where you don't like having projects laying around. You like to have your stuff ready to go, and
yes,
and kind of like me, you like for it to look a certain way. And
I've built racks in these rooms for these planes, and I had one of the guys at the field was like, "Well, do you cover them up before you go to bed?" I was like,
"They're your babies."
Yeah.
He doesn't do that, by the way. I can assure you,
he doesn't tuck everyone in.
He doesn't tuck them in at night, but he takes very good care of them, and he likes for them to look likes for them to look nice. He doesn't like projects having laying around. So I totally get that. 90 ready to go at any given time. I mean, out of 107, that's a pretty high percentage. It's math,
like.
Yeah.
90% almost. I guess a little under. Anyway, so Bob was kind enough to give us a list of his airplanes.
And I will do my best to not miss any of the 107 that are on here. But Bob told me that some of these, like there may not be 107 names on here because he has duplicates of some of them.
He has quadruplicates of
which to me makes sense because we've talked about we hit this subject over and over. The manufacturers will make something and then they'll stop making it. And if it happens to be something that you really liked, why not? If you have the means, buy multiples of that in case something terrible happens down the road. You've got a backup.
Absolutely.
So I totally get it. And so I'm going to start. So first we have his 30cc S-Bach. Nice airplane. We've got the AeroWorks Extra 30, 50cc. Yeah, and that's another thing.
Yeah,
a lot of Bob's airplanes are big.
Yeah, they're not like
awesome.
40-size trainers or anything.
He does not have a lot of electric foamies, which I love, by the way.
He's a big balsa guy.
Yeah, and most of his stuff, I would say probably, I don't know, conservatively 70% of your stuff either has a gas or a nitro motor on it. Yeah, which I love that also, Ron. So
I'm fine with a gas.
A 50cc DLE, 55cc DLE sitting on a Cardin Extra 300. He also has an Extra 300L with 100cc on it, which I love that airplane. That's the black, red, and silver one, right? Yeah, you would like that one, Ron. Those are your colors.
I would. Those are my colors.
All right, moving on. We got the 50cc Cardignac, the purple, yellow, and white one, like mine. Well, that's
I was going to say, hold on, what? Yeah.
We've got quite a few. I'm not going to go through all of them. Quite a few P-51s.
Yes.
He likes the P-51s. The Seagull Sea Fury, which he told me needs a new home. So if anybody out there is looking for a Sea Fury, that's one that Bob probably wouldn't mind letting go. We got this is one of my favorite of all of your planes. The big Pitts Challenger.
Oh, yeah.
The big one with the 150 on it. I cannot wait to see that thing in the air.
What motor is that? Is that a DA?
DA 150.
That's got the
DA
DA
150.
150 on it.
Yeah. That's a great motor.
And that's the one we ran, right? We ran it at the club event that one day.
You and I ran.
Yeah, it took 3 of us to hold it back too. It was, so then you've got an 80cc version of that, kind of that same airplane.
Yeah,
It's Challenger.
Got the 3W in it.
Yep, 3W80.
And the big 150cc one too is covered in that Aura cover or Auratex.
Auratex, yeah.
And that is gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
They were
It's a beautiful
scratch.
airplane.
They were scratch built by the same guy.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, no kidding.
Yes.
So he had
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did tell me
a
that.
full size, a big one, and then like a model of the same one. Then, like, do they match?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same.
pretty close,
quality.
Same covering?
the same
or?
build. Yeah, same covering.
Really?
Yes.
And
I don't
they're
think
beautiful.
I realized that. That's kind of cool.
Yep. And that one's got his smaller one's got the 3W 80 on it, which is a really good running engine too. Let's see. We got 2 50cc pits with DAs on them. And then some recent acquisitions. You've got I think those were Great Plains pits, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So nice. He's got the monster pits, which is actually the Goldberg, the old Goldberg.
Yes.
I think it was an R, the blue and yellow one.
No, I'm sorry. Hold on.
That's gonna-
Does this hurt at all? Because you have one of the pits for so long, and I have heard like just back to back to back to back to back 5 of them, right?
And there's more coming.
Oh, sorry, 5 pits so far. Is that?
No, it doesn't hurt. I'm glad he has
that make?
them.
How does that make you feel?
I'm glad he has them.
Okay,
I'm not like jealous. Well, maybe a little.
that's a lot.
So yeah, the Goldberg Monster pits, that's got a 35 RA in it. And I'm here to tell you that thing is a rocket.
It's
I love
fast,
that
yeah.
thing. A Super Stearman also with a 35 RA in it. We got a 40 size seaplane. Oh yeah, the linear, not a linear. That's an Ace Seamaster, I think, right?
Yes.
The yellow one. Yep, that's a good looking airplane. All right, and then we've got the Cap 580. We call it the splat
The
plane.
splat planes.
But it's the big one. It's the big
Yes.
3rd scale one from Great Plains. That's got a 100cc DA on it. Also a fantastic flying airplane. I've flown that one, and that one flies awesome. Seagull Ultimate with the DLE 20. Yep. We got the Seagull Spitfire with the 20. Is that a DLE probably? 20cc. Yep. And then, so we've got the Profile Foamy, one of the rare foamies in his collection. This is I think it's called the Flame EPP or something like that. It's a little 3D foamy airplane. He has a Precision Aerobatics Addiction. That's a pretty good flying ball. That's a balsa one. So credit for that. He's got 4 of these. I think they're called Taft jets or Taft avionics or Taft something. It's a foam 90 millimeter ducted fan T-tail with retractable gear. He's got 4 of them.
4.
They actually look like they'll fly pretty good. I've repaired one of them, but we haven't seen one fly yet. But we'll change that this summer maybe. Mini Ultra Stick, Dave Patrick Ultimate. That's a beautiful airplane. I was with you when you bought that one. 2 World Models 40 size Ultimates. That's one of them you just recently repaired.
Yes.
And those look really, really nice.
No, I'm just listening. I'm like, gosh.
Now,
that's a
if
lot
you
of
say the
biplanes.
repair, I bought it like that, and I repaired.
Oh,
it.
Right. Yeah. I don't want anyone to misunderstand. It was repaired because he acquired it in a condition,
Unrepaired state.
Exactly. Yeah. But he did he showed us the repair here before the show. It looks like new.
Yeah,
Can't
sure
even tell.
does.
Super Stearman. Super Stearman. Oh, that's the big Super Stearman. Yeah, that's got the that hasn't been flown yet.
Right.
Yep. All right, we got a P40 here with the DLE 55. Which one's that? Is that the
Warhawk?
Right, but is that the Hangar 9 one?
Yeah. Yep. The P40.
Yeah, those are rare, actually. P47 Thunderbolt with a 35 on it.
By the way, the Warhawk, I have 2 of them, Tom.
Of course you do.
One not in the box and one in the box.
New one. Yeah. Okay. And then Dave Patrick Ultimate. I think that one was on here twice.
It's probably a different one.
No, I think you've only got one of those.
Just one of those.
Okay, so and that's a pretty airplane too. Got that one in really good shape. 2 QQ extras. That's the foamies, right? Yeah. Okay. Then you have a Mamba, the electric one, right? Because
I was gonna say that's the one that he takes off in the span of how long the plane is.
Oh, the green and white one. Is that the green and white one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing is
Takes off from the tables.
yeah, it's It's got a
little
the power to
overpowered.
weight ratio is pretty amazing. But that's stock actually, isn't it?
Yes.
Don't they come with that motor in
Yeah.
them. So, but they do a big, like a 120cc version of that airplane too, don't they? I'm surprised one of those isn't on the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
He hasn't come across it yet, I'm sure.
Here's another Pitts, a UMX one, UMX P51 brushless Mustang. We've got a micro EDF F86. That's probably the UMX too. Park Zone P51, the Grasshopper, which
E-Flight.
likes that one. Yep. We have a Profile S-Bach. That's got an OS 120 on it. We got to figure that one out. The Butterfly, the 10 or 15 glow. That's the glider. That's the one you started with.
Yeah, that's the first glow that Tommy helped me get straightened out. That
You still have your first plane?
yes.
That's awesome.
Isn't that awesome?
I cannot say that.
I can't either.
I don't have my first two.
I don't have my first. I don't know how many, but the fact that you still have that airplane actually kind of hits me right here.
That was my first glow.
He's
I
pointing
still
to
have
his
my
heart.
first electric as well. The Corsair that I bought from Adventure Hobbies.
That's right. That's
that
right. I thought you started with the Cub like he did, but no, it was that Corsair.
It was a Corsair.
And you still have that one.
Yes,
That's
I do.
Amazing.
And also another guy that was a member of the club, Bob Bradford. His grandson. I worked with him, and when Bob passed, he had a couple planes, the Addiction, which was on there, and the T-28. I still have those as well. Those were my first electrics.
Awesome.
That's like, I'm impressed with your memory of remembering where these came from and all that stuff. Because that I have.
Well, it's easy to remember when you still have them.
Yeah.
Wow, that look you just gave me. That's impressively like, wow.
Judgy. You could give me the same look because I don't have my first one either. All right. It's a big list. Moving on. So the Butterfly. Okay, so we got a Sopwith Pup. Oh, that's the that's a really pretty airplane. I can't wait to see that one fly too. That's that one. Yeah. E-Flight Pitts S15. E-Flight. Oh, Pitts S1.
Yeah.
The E-Flight Super Stearman, the E-Flight P51 with a 3-cell. That's the bigger of the E-Flight ones, I think.
I also have the triplane. I don't think it's on there.
Okay. All right. Which triplane is that?
It's the one it's
Is it got a gas on it?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a Balsa USA
Yeah,
triplane.
it's a
The
big
smaller
plane.
one.
It's a pretty good size.
It is a big one, but Balsa USA makes a huge one too. So I think. But yeah, nice.
Would that be like quarter scale or something? Or
It's probably 25% or maybe may not be quite a 30%, but it's not small.
yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 Pulse XTs, 25Es. One of those new in the box, probably.
Yes.
Yep. Convergence FPV. Oh, that's one of those ones you fly with the goggles.
Yep.
P47, another electric P47. There's the T28. Edge 540 with the Sato 100. That's a good flying airplane, too. Revolver with a 91.
Yep.
Oh, I bet that thing moves.
It is very fast.
Twist with a 100 on it. Yep. I had one of those briefly. Brian up at the shop has it now. Stinson Reliant. We have another seaplane. Which seaplane? Is it?
No, it's the seaplane. I might have stuck that on there. You might have already mentioned that. I had a.
You're right. Yep. This is the first issue of the seaplane. The other one was an Escapade, 40 size Escapade. Okay. There we go. With a 40 size nitro motor on it, Ron. 2 Ultimates with the OS 4 strokes on them.
And the world model. Yep.
Okay. Yep. A Profile 10 with a 3-foot wing.
That's the little bitty plane, the real small.
Oh, that yellow one.
Yes.
I remember that one. We did some tuning on that one, too.
It's a handful, man.
Oh, you've flown it?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
E-Flight Optera. We were talking about that before the show. Seagull Ultimate in the box. Nice.
Yeah.
2 extra 300 Cardins in the box. That's the green and white one, right?
Yep.
Those are really good flying airplanes, too. The Hangar 9 35cc sized Beaver. Hangar 9 Valiant, which that one moves out pretty good, too, as I recall. And then you've got a SIG something extra. We're getting there, I promise, folks. We're almost there. SIG something extra. We have the Giles Monster Energy, which actually I built that from a Midwest Giles 202 kit way back in the day. Originally, I built that with a Sato 180, and you took the 180 off.
Jason.
The previous owner, yeah. And then you put a 20cc on it and it made it much better flyer. Here's another Mamba, another Giles with the 210 Moki on it. Yep, the orange glow with an OS 46.
It's just a low wing one that I'd picked up. I don't even know who it is. Just one that I'd picked up from one of the guys.
I think I know. It looks kind of like a Goldberg Tiger for anybody who's familiar with that. It's a low wing sport plane, good flying airplane, and then a high wing 25 glow trainer type airplane, Bucher Jungmeister with a 20cc on it. Oh, that's the white and red one that we put together for. He's got 2 of those. Okay, sweet.
One in the box.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got a small cap with the OS-46. That's the other smaller version of the splat plane.
Yes.
And then we've got a micro P-51, another one. Cessna 182, the T-28. Is this the big T-28? Do you have more than one of the T-28s?
I sold one. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then you've got the Segstra. I can never pronounce that. Segstra, that's it.
Yes.
And then we've got an extra 260 with the 180 on it. Cardignac with the DLE 55. That's the one kind of like the one Ron has. I think we got that one on there twice. Unless there's another Cardignac in there.
No,
there is. That's right. You do have 2 of them.
Yep.
He does have 2 of them. Yeah. That's right. One with the DLE and one with the DA.
Right.
All right. The Hobby King Fidget, which I had to ask you about that because I wasn't quite familiar with that. But that's just a little small electric foamy. Yep. Sport plane. Hangar 9 P-51 with the 46. So that's the one with the big Q on the tail. The tail maybe.
Well, I've got 2 of the big ones, and I've got one's got the 120 Golden Knight on it, and one's got a OS-46 on it.
Cool. V900. That's the pylon racer thing, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So a little bit of everything here. Small T-28 Corsair. There's your original Corsair.
Yes.
Su-29, and then the Sukhoi. Yep. And that pretty much rounds out the list.
Now, on the T-28s, I had 2 of them on there. That's because I have one with a FPV camera on it. And you could put the goggles on it and get right into the cockpit of it when you fly it.
So you do FPV then?
Yeah.
What?
I've tried that, and Ron and I have talked about it. It makes me sick to my stomach. I can't do it.
There's no way I can do it either, and that's unfortunate because I think it would be fun.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
But so is it? What's it feel like to actually feel like you're in the cockpit when you're flying?
It's best to be sitting down when you're doing it. Now, the first time I did it, and have a spotter watch you, because the first time I did it, I put a locator in it.
But by the AMA, you have to have a spotter.
Yeah.
That's true.
But we took off out at the field. My grandson's sitting there. It's just him and I out there, and I got the goggles on, and I fly down, I turn, I fly back, and the plane starts to roll, and I got the glasses on. I really kind of freaked me out, and then my grandson was like, "Grandpa, I don't see it no more." And I'm thinking, oh, no.
Oh, no.
And I wound up flying behind myself, and then I just let down on the throttle. But we took the locator finder, and I had to walk about 3/4 of a mile to find it.
Oh, my God.
But we found it. It was broke. We took some CA and kicker and put it back together, and it still goes. You'll have to come out to the field and put those on and let somebody fly it.
If somebody else flies, I can probably do it if I open my eyes for about 2 seconds at a time, then close them again. I mean, honestly,
it's pretty cool. You can see yourself down on the ground working the sticks.
Yeah. Well, Ron and I we've flown with our GoPros on the camera or on the airplanes, and that's not like FPV, obviously, but
no, it's nothing like it.
But like with those cameras, we can see ourselves after the fact. But like wearing the goggles, you've let me try to fly one of your planes with the goggles, and it just I don't know, it makes me sick to my stomach. The vertigo or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's the same with me. Even like with the what the heck is it called?
Drones?
No, even with the VR, the VR headsets and stuff. I can't do that for more than 5 or 10 minutes, and that's only if it's something not moving. When it starts moving in the game and stuff, I'm
game over.
There you go. I like that. It's almost instantaneous.
Now, see, when I got into it, the Tommy when you work for Hammer, I bought my first little drone. You flew it out the door, out into the out of the place, and you flew it around and flew it back in, and that's what made me want to get one. And my grandson and I was like, well, okay, something we did a lot together because we went to the hobby shop and we did these drone races and kind of got used to it. And then we'd be in the house with these little drones flying. He'd be in one room, I'd be in the other, and we'd be flying through the house.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So what size would that have been?
It's just a tiny. It's the Tiny Whoop.
Yeah. I don't remember what they're called.
But
I would rather not like everybody know that, by the way.
What?
Well, I for as much as I talk down about drones, I used to fly them occasionally.
Well, I mean, I have 4 of them too. I mean, it's not like they're the devil. They're okay, but they're just not what we prefer.
I think he was just selling it. He sold it.
It worked.
Yeah,
Look what I can
it did.
107 airplanes later.
Yeah.
It worked. See?
Yeah, it kept him going for quite a while. Okay, so you have all these airplanes, and you have them like everywhere in your house and stuff.
Nope.
Which, once again,
They're not everywhere. Like I said before, he
Oh
has
my gosh!
them.
When I say everywhere, I mean when you look in the room.
When you look in the airplane room, it is airplanes. Yes.
As I was saying, how do you decide which ones you want to fly when you fly them?
That's hard. That's really hard. It's it takes a while. It takes a while to figure out. Some of the bigger ones. It depends on. I have the big one I have, and it takes somebody else to help me get it outside.
Yeah.
And it's usually. The biplanes are nice if the wings are attached, and it's not a lot to do. I've got the 40 size, which is really nice because the wings are on.
Yeah, it's a good
And I
size.
could haul them right out to the, put them in and gas them up and go.
Yep.
See, I hear your list, and you have a lot of biplanes. That is my problem with biplanes, is it's twice the wing that you have to deal with, store, and move.
Yeah,
Not if you keep them in one piece.
Yeah, some of the wings actually are pretty easy. The pitch Challenger I have, that is really simple. A lot of people's like, oh, biplanes, it takes a long time to put them together. And the way the guy that built this, I mean, it's pretty quick. They go together really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I remember, he built a almost like a jig almost that holds the end of the wings exactly where they need to be, so they just slide right onto the fuselage, and you install a couple bolts, and you're off to the other side. It's really quick, actually.
Well, I mean, like even the Super Skybolt you have that was mine, that wasn't too bad because the bottom wing goes on with 2 wing bolts like a normal airplane.
Right.
And then the top wing has 2 screws that hold it on to the center
cabane.
I didn't know that's what it's called. But anyway, and then the struts that go up and down are thumb screws. So that's easy to do.
Yeah,
but that's
so
still, like, I don't know. If I had a ton of those airplanes, I would expect to lose the struts. I mean, just... it's just more stuff.
I could see that.
And by the way, just about every one of my planes have wing bags.
Yeah.
Because I'm really,
Well, I guess I wouldn't lose them if I had wing bags.
Right. Yeah.
But that's true.
When we put the pits together there at the warehouse, Tommy, that was really simple. I mean, you would think clips, the way that it was built, that it was together really,
it's very
really
slick.
simple.
Yeah.
They, like the manufacturers, they do the best they can to make it so that you want to fly the airplanes. So you buy more of their airplanes.
Right.
So I don't think these days, I don't think they're any more or less work than a regular old spacewalker.
I tell you what you do. You buy
almost
a
said
big,
it wrong.
I almost did.
you buy a big trailer, you put the wings on at home, put the plane in the trailer, and you're good to go.
That's the other thing. So Bob, since he started in this, has bought a huge trailer. What's the size on that one?
It's a 20-foot.
20-foot
I think
trailer.
maybe 22. I'm not for sure.
It's probably at least 22 with the V nose.
Yeah.
It's an enclosed. It's a nice trailer.
It's enough to fit a lot of airplanes.
It could probably fit about half of Bob's collection in it at any given time. Maybe.
No, I've got the racks in there set to adjust the wheel size. So
That way, yeah, you can. Wow, that's like I said, he puts us to shame. Like I mean,
for sure.
We sit here and we talk about this stuff, and it's like, well, then there's Bob.
Yep.
And Bob, like, I don't have anything to say because Bob just has outdone everything. He's got the trailer, he's got the airplanes, he's got everything. He's got it. He's got warehouses full.
Yeah.
It's not just in your house.
I hope my wife don't hear this.
It's okay, Bob. We say that often.
We do actually, and my wife doesn't listen anymore, so we're good.
Yeah, Lori listens once in a while, but
Well,
I'm not sure if she catches every episode.
that's
So,
okay.
Bob, you mentioned what got you into the hobby. You're welcome. Do you remember? Like, obviously, you remember like it was yesterday because you have a really really great memory. I vaguely remember flying that drone periodically, and it's funny because that was indeed, the idea of flying one of those around the shop for customers was to get them to buy them.
Right.
But if I had known what where it would have gone.
Where the next decade was going.
I probably would have tried to sell you something maybe a little nicer.
What does that mean?
Well, but I mean, like, if I had known that airplanes were going to be his primary, thing that really, gets him going, I would have tried to sell you an airplane, like the Cub that you started with, Ron.
Yeah. That was a good airplane to start with.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like, that's what I would have tried. But like, I remember vaguely that, like you said, you were looking kind of for trains, and I don't think it was. Well, it may have been that visit, but it seemed like you were really kind of not sure what you wanted. You just wanted something to play with the grandson, I think, at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, but had I known, I would have started you off with a Cub for sure, or something similar. So it's just funny to me how we remember things. Like, I remember things differently than you do, Ron, and then and then I remember. Like it was yesterday, us tuning that butterfly right there on the steps at the shop.
Yes. Oh, yep.
And I thought, I would have thought that was your first airplane, but that wasn't.
No.
It was that Corsair, and I'd completely forgotten about that. See?
Where I learned how to fly, I wound up buying from that shop. I bought the Phoenix flight simulator and the controller, and I went home and practiced on the computer.
Yep.
And then with those foam planes I had, I went out to fly them, and I couldn't wait. And once I got it in the air, I couldn't wait to get it on the ground. Like, the guys were going, "No, don't land it, fly it." And I said, "I want to see if I can land it."
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it's still more fun, I think, to just take off and land than it is to fly around.
Yeah.
Because landings can be beautiful if done right.
Right.
And they are very... It just makes you feel good about
It does.
yourself when it
It
comes
absolutely
down
does.
one piece.
And that's like one of the things I like to do the most is just take off and land.
Touch and go,
Touch and goes. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, but all planes are different, though. I mean, some of them, will float in. Some of them, you got to fly them in.
That's right. Yeah, and you've learned that over the years.
Yes.
You've developed a pretty good technique. You fly them all the way down to the runway.
Yep.
Which is a great technique instead of chopping the throttle and
letting them float down and
get about 5 or 6 landings on the.
Yeah, exactly.
Bounces.
Yeah.
So I mentioned that if I could go back in time, I've started you off on a different path, so to speak. If you knew, if you could go back 10 years, when you first got in, knowing everything about the hobby that you know now, would you have done anything differently?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. I really enjoy flying, and a lot of people are like, "Man, isn't that expensive?" Not really, not once you learn how to fly.
It doesn't have to be.
107 airplanes,
but I mean, you don't have to go out and buy 107 airplanes.
That's true.
You can enjoy the hobby.
Yes.
For much less than that.
If you have one airplane and a couple batteries or nitro fuel, whatever, you can you can very easily do it. But speaking of battery, do you know how many batteries you have?
Oh man, no. but
I can't imagine.
Yeah, Tom knows a lot about the battery system.
Honestly, though, Bob doesn't have a lot of electric airplanes. I mean, he's got a few, but
I know, but I've
by
seen,
and large, his collection is gas or nitro.
But I've still seen the ammo cans of batteries he brings to the field when he comes out for a day, and that puts me to shame when he just brings one airplane that's electric to fly, and then the rest are nitro or gas.
Well, he likes to fly, so he flies a lot.
Flies a lot more than I do.
Both of us put together, probably.
And he's got more planes than both of us together.
Oh, yeah. So, if you had known, Bob, that you were going to have, let me ask that in a different way. Did you think that when you started in the hobby, you would end up at a point where you'd have this many airplanes?
No.
Yeah, that seems to be the overwhelming response from anybody we ask that question to.
Well, I had a little help with that, because in my job, in the wintertime, I push snow and stuff, and I became friends with Paul at the hobby shop, and I would take in-store credit for clearing the lot, And,
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then I would that way, and then they had the eBay part, and a friend of mine worked in the eBay, and he's like, "Hey, Bob, got some planes here. You got to come and check them out." And,
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
See, it's all about how you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
cool.
And a follow-up to that question, though, that we never extrapolated out. So where we were 10 years ago to now, where do we think we'll be in 10 years from now?
Oh, man. Yeah, what do you think of that, Bob?
I have no room to put any.
214?
Oh, no. That's scary.
I mean, doesn't that sort of logically follow? I mean, 107 at 10 years should be 214 at 20 years.
Yeah. That's a lot of them.
Yeah, it is a lot of them. So, Bob, without divulging too much information, where do you store all these airplanes?
A lot of them at home.
Yeah.
I like to keep them in the controlled environment where you control the temperature, so it doesn't mess with the balsa, or doesn't mess with the covering. I like it to look nice when I get it to the field, and I see those planes that no one takes out there, and I was like, I want that one, and and just trying to take care of them. I know you get that many planes, you get hanger rash, and man, that hurts.
Yeah,
just moving around them where you dent something, or you Tom, you fixed.
We've all done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have
put a propeller tip through a piece of covering in the wing.
Yeah,
I mean, we've all done that.
Crushed
and that's
a turtle deck.
Yeah, yeah. Or had someone crush a turtle deck for you.
See, that's what got me to get the trailer, because I was hauling I had the 50cc in the back of my truck. I had my flight box back there, and I went to turn, and my flight box fell over and poked a hole in my plane. It's like, oh no, man, I
can't have that.
No, I got to do something different.
Yep. No,
so a 20-foot trailer comes to mind. I mean, that's awesome. That's maybe a little jealous.
When you have big airplanes, like it requires a big trailer.
Yeah,
I mean, so you obviously you fly with the club. We talked about the club, same club that we fly at.
Yeah,
which is nice. But you also fly other locations, mostly the foamies, and you fly with Reggie.
Yeah,
which is always entertaining to us because you always. Well, I shouldn't say too much because Reggie might be listening. But occasionally we get gouge or we get information on stuff before Reggie is willing to
divulge it to us,
which I appreciate.
I do too. I don't know how to word that more nicely, but there's been a few things, you're right, Reggie has not told us that we have found out about from other sources.
Yeah. And we appreciate that. But so what's it like? So obviously, we don't get to fly with Reggie as often as you do. What is a typical day of flying with Reggie out at the church? What is that like?
Hey, Bob, you only brought one plane? It's like
so Reggie takes 18 airplanes with him every time he flies.
Yeah, he sets up.
I might be exaggerating a little bit. But.
Yeah, he sets up and kind of looks like Capitol Airport around his truck. Yeah.
Well, he means business. Like when he goes to fly, he wants to fly everything he has, which, by the way, so I set a goal for myself for this summer. I want to fly every airplane I have that's ready to fly or that can be flown at least once. And Ron, I think, was kind of waffling on that. He thought maybe Reggie said he was going to try that as well. And we know what Reggie's number is. We had him on the show. With a number like yours, do you think that would be something that you'd be able to do in the summertime?
No. I thought about that when I heard you say that. I would like to be able to fly the ones I haven't flown yet. And I've flown most of them.
Yeah. No, I think that's a reasonable goal.
But then as well as I do, there's the ones that you really like and you like how they fly, and it's like, it's like, well, that's going to go. We're going to take maybe one of these other ones that I haven't flown. And we had the breakfast last year, and that 80cc, I got out there early, out at the field, and I put everything together, and something didn't seem right. And one of the guys...
You're talking about the Challenger, the smaller one. Yep.
Yeah, okay. The 80cc, and one of the guys was like, go ahead and fly. And I was like, I just don't feel good about it. So keeping that in mind, if you don't feel comfortable, don't do it. Don't let other people talk you into doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's when usually something happens. Well, he left and went down to the breakfast, and I went through it, and I figured out what was wrong, and I flew it just with me and my grandson there, and it was beautiful. They all watched from the breakfast place, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many times let's be honest, how many times have we pushed Reggie, hey, Reggie, you should, good friends, we probably shouldn't do that, but
we rip each other. It's
caves. I mean, sometimes he takes that chance, and shame on us for provoking him. But at the same time, if you're not comfortable flying it, don't fly it.
Right.
Figure out what's going on first.
We was out the field one day, and it was pretty windy. And I had the Valiant out there, and he had one of his planes, and he's like, hey, let's fly. Are you going to take that up? And I was like, well, I don't know, man. It's pretty windy. So I got it out on the runway, and the wind was blowing the back end around, and the rudder, I was like, nope, not flying it, and I've seen a lot of stuff happen to where, guys have messed up planes because you got guys in the background going, hey, go ahead, take it up, and
Yep.
And you got to do a flight check on everything. You got to check if your ailerons are hooked up, if you're going the right way, or
Ron and I preach that all the time.
Yes,
pre-flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And check your battery. Check the load on your battery.
Yep.
Checking your battery may not be enough. You put a load on it, and
that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, if they zero out pretty quick, then it's not.
Yep,
it's not a good thing to fly with.
It's not worth flying with if the battery's not right. Yeah, for sure. So the next question: do you have a certain group of people that you like to fly with? For you, it's mostly whoever happens to be at the field when you're flying, because you fly a lot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have a certain group of people that you prefer to fly with, and you don't have to
like these guys right here with me, But honestly,
it's more fun. Yeah, but we don't make it out as often as we should.
Right.
But when you're out there with all these guys, the best thing to do is stand back and watch them. And you'll see who you want to fly with. Like, nope, and I want to pull my airplane back because this guy's got, he's a little shaky on his landings, and
right, sure,
And
I think When you fly with someone that you're familiar flying with, then there's a certain amount of trust, and that sort of puts everybody at ease. So you can be working on your plane in the pit and not have to worry about watching the skies to make sure.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Something's not coming your way.
So I think that's getting a group of friends that you're comfortable flying with. I think promotes more flying.
Oh, I agree.
If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the best thing to do is kind of watch and see who you want to fly with and who you don't. I mean, there's some, when the butterfly, for example, when I first went out there, when I first started flying, one of the guys had one just like it, and I watched him fly, and I was like, wow, this guy can help me trim this, and he's like, I was like, hey, can you fly this? And he's like, oh yeah, I can fly that. And I said, would you fly it? And he said, you sure? And I said, yeah. So he takes off and flies right into the pole out there.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, man, it's not even a kit no more. But no, he destroyed the wings, and Tommy helped me get another set of wings on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bob's always good about having other people fly his airplanes. Like, he will offer it to.
Oh, he's very generous. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And
you are too, though. I mean, to me anyway.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's weird. I always offer. There must be something wrong with my airplanes.
Why?
Because I offer my airplanes to you guys to fly all the time, and nobody ever flies them.
Well, of course not.
Why?
I don't fly other people's airplanes.
Yeah, I tell you what, my grandson, him and I, we flew. It was the whole idea of getting into it. And he had one of the guys out there give him a plane. Well, he was like, Grandpa, let's fly this. Get it in the air. And I was like, okay. So I, trying to get my stuff and do his stuff for him. And I didn't do a flight check, not like I should have. Yeah. So put the battery in there, and somebody launched it, and the elevator was backwards. So when I took off, I slammed it into the ground. He's standing there crying. It's like, what'd you do that for? And I was like, that was the last time I flew anybody's plane.
Oh,
it's like, no, don't want to fly your plane.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand that.
Even if you see, like, let's take, for example, my yellow stick, which you flew before you gave it to me. And then I've flown it for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years now.
Great.
Flies awesome, but you still won't fly it even when I offer it to you.
Well, that's your plane.
But you offer your planes all the time to me. So why is that different? I don't understand.
It's an unfair double standard that I completely understand.
Yeah. So
like, I get it. If you're comfortable flying
I
somebody
want
else,
someone else to experience how great this airplane flies. It's not about
There's been times when
anybody or anything like that. It's just, man, I'm having such a good time flying this. Bob, check this out. Check how much fun this is. But you won't fly.
Just like the splat plane, Tommy is like, he took it up. He goes, oh man, this flies great. This fly here. You want to fly it? I was like, no, go ahead. You're good. I'm filming. And I got heckled about that. From Reggie.
Oh, of course, yeah. And that is a good flying airplane.
And that's your plane even.
Yeah.
That wasn't Tommy's plane.
Not
that
mine
was,
at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I had any skin in the gas. Like, did I even work on it up to that point? I don't think I did. I think you just showed up and.
Yeah, you helped me with the putting the receiver and lining everything out.
Anyway.
But I've taken it a few times by myself. And,
you've flown it now.
Yeah.
And it is a great flying airplane.
Yes.
Hopefully someday I end up with that airplane. I'm just saying. All right, so let's move on to something else. Do you have a favorite crash story that you like to tell?
Well,
like we all have our favorite, whatever the scenario is. Do you have a favorite story?
Well,
a crash story of your own, not of watching Reggie crash. We all have one of those too. But
Reggie, it goes back to when I first started.
Okay.
It was a 50cc plane, and it was like I said, I was going out to the field every morning before I'd go to work, and I would swing by and pick up one of my employees, and he'd go out there with me. And I'd gotten this plane. It was like one of my first big planes, and I didn't check. I checked the battery, but I didn't put a load on the battery.
Okay.
And it was, I think it was a LiPo battery maybe.
Okay.
And I got the plane started and where our pits are there and the tree line is at the west end of the field.
Yep.
I started it up and checked everything looked good and I took off and it was so nice. And then it was like, oh, I haven't got anything. What's going on? And it just went and went and went. And I had to get in my truck and drive to the other end of the field. It was on the other side of the tree line.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's 3/4 of a mile. Yeah.
Or more. Yeah.
Half to 3/4 maybe.
There. Yeah.
That's a good,
that
good way away.
Ways.
Yeah.
So the battery. Enough.
Yep.
Yeah, which ironically enough, half to 3/4 of a mile away is how far Reggie flies his 40 size planes.
And that was like one of the ones that really really kind of hurt my feelings.
Sure.
I didn't share that with nobody. I was like
Yeah.
But then I had out at the field. It probably was last year, or a couple years ago. I got another guy that I fly with, and he called me up and said, "Hey, you want to go flying?" I was like, "Well, it's pretty windy out." And he goes, "Oh, come on, you chicken." And I was like, "No, I'll meet you out there." So we went out there, and
here we go.
And I had the corn. The corn was up, so on the corn really, there's a lot of turbulence over the top of the corn. And I thought I had plenty of ground speed and I was moving along and I got up right at the corn. It slammed it down on the ground. He's like, "I don't think I would have done that." And I was like, "Why didn't you tell me before I took off?"
Yeah, no kidding. Aren't you the one that told me to come out here and fly?
And then he flew one time. He's like, "Oh, I'm done. I'm not flying anymore." But
that's the problem with the corn out there is when it gets high, you really get a feeling of, oh, there's not a lot of wind here, even though a little higher, 10 feet in the air there is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know, false sense of security thinking you're okay, but you're really not.
Yeah, it rolls across the top of the
corn.
corn.
And then just like, Bob's saying, even like, so you're protected in between the stands of corn. And like you said, you get above the corn, but then there's that like transition zone where the wind is coming over the top of the corn and then it dives down and creates these weird eddy currents
vortices
right across the runway that you just can't see them. And if it's a windy day and the corn is up, unless the wind is right out of the west or east, right down the runway, then you're usually pretty okay. But if there's any kind of a quartering or crosswind,
I remember the time I don't remember, Bob, you might have been out there with us too when we had the little cyclone thing that just came out of nowhere.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, you could just watch it come across the corn, and then you could see exactly where it went across because it was picking up some leaves and stuff coming across the field and went right behind us. And it's like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like
just those weird currents that come across the corn. So
glad I wasn't flying through that.
Yeah. So this next question, I know the answer to this one, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you like going to swap meets, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh man. Like who doesn't, right? Yeah. Like if you're into RC airplanes and you don't enjoy going to swap meets, well, you're silly.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with you.
The swap meets are so much fun. And not just because you can buy stuff, but just to, like if you've been in the hobby a while, you can kind of reminisce when you see something older or you see something that hasn't been available for a while.
Or if you haven't been in the hobby, you can see things that you didn't even know were out there.
Yeah, that too.
Like that's kind of what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good practice. If you see something there that you like, you better get it because you go by and you think, man, that looks nice. That looks nice. And you go by 2 or 3 times before you know it, it's gone.
Yeah, that's where Tommy and I are completely opposite.
Ron and I differ on that. See, I'm a weight kind of a guy because let's be honest, like I don't have 107 airplanes, but I've got enough,
like 3 or 4.
Like I don't need another airplane, right? Like not really. So if I see an airplane I like, it's like, well, I'll let this one. If it's still here, when I leave, then maybe it was meant to be. I don't get it. I don't feel that need to get it before.
See, I think that's the difference. Like Bob and I are probably closer in the fact that when we see that, we've both been bitten in the long run, where if we've waited too long, it's gone. So you buy it now.
See, but that's what I'm saying.
Like you fall in love at first sight.
Okay, I see. Well,
and it's that is awesome. I want it.
Now the Dave Patrick Ultimate, I looked at that. I was like, yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice. But the longer I waited and everybody kept on passing it up, and then my buddy was like, hey, are you going to get that? That's nice.
The price kept getting lower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It got down there.
Yeah. I feel like you got a really good, I love that airplane. Yeah. And we ran that one at the warehouse, and man, what a good looking airplane that is. It's a biplane, by the way.
Yeah, one of 25. I don't know.
Bob, do you prefer building and tinkering, or do you prefer fly? Which of the two do you enjoy more?
Well, I don't mind a little bit of covering, but as far as getting into a little bit of covering, fixing, making it look clean and nice. I'm not, I'm a contractor, so I want to leave that at work. But the building part, I can do a little patch or what have you, or
sure.
I just want to take it to the field and I want it to look nice.
Yep. So you prefer, of the two, you would prefer to fly than to build. Yeah.
Yep.
So any interest in building a kit or anything like that?
No,
sometime? No,
not the patience. I mean, it's And then with where am I going to do it at?
Well, I know
that's a really good point.
Yeah. That's
But
kitchen table. I've done that.
And I know. When you build, like when Tom does, or you do, you've got stuff. Nothing's going to happen real quick.
Yeah.
You're going to work on something for a while. There's only so much you can do, and you got to wait and wait and wait, and that's hard for me.
Yeah,
I get that.
I do too. Yeah. That's why I usually work on more than one thing at a time.
Yeah, and I've noticed as I've gotten older, I've gotten more patient. Some people, it's the opposite. They're patient when they're young, but then when they get older, they become less patient. So when I was a noob, is that the proper term?
I guess.
In the hobby.
Way back when.
I didn't like to build either. I couldn't stand sitting there waiting for something because I just wanted to go fly it, right?
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, it's kind of gone the other way. I actually prefer to build rather than fly. I mean, I'm not saying I don't like flying. I'm just saying it's weird how that changes over time. Maybe that'll change for you, Bob.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, I've seen you do. You helped me with some of my stuff, and I tried to watch closely, and just like those wires on that pitch, I was going to take them to you and have them. I was like, I can probably do this.
Yeah, you can do that,
and right? I did, and it turned out really nice.
Yeah, it turned out really nice. So, see, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'll turn you into a builder yet.
Yeah. Slowly. It's okay.
Do you prefer balsa planes or foam planes?
Balsa.
Oh, that a boy. Yes.
That almost didn't need to be asked.
I
mean, but
I knew the answer to that too.
But the batteries too. That's another whole story. Because when you got the foam in a balsa plane, when you run out of fuel, you got enough airspeed, you can bring that baby down. When you're in a foam plane, your battery goes out, it's going to come down its own, and it won't be the same.
Yeah, it depends on the type of airplane it is. You still have a little bit of glide time with some of them, but that's why you set a timer.
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about that. Which, like I said, with battery, it's cool because you know how long it's going to last, and you don't have to worry about it dying. Whereas with nitro, that dirty old nitro, you do.
Well, unless a cell goes dead unexpectedly, and then you have.
How often does that happen?
Well, it happens.
Not often at all.
But it happens.
Well,
but then it's a spectacular fireball that comes down.
But then when you got a good tuner at the field,
see,
you don't have to worry about that.
But is he a good tuner though? I mean, because I feel like
I've seen a lot of dead sticks with Tommy flying.
Oh, no,
so.
that's true. No.
On his own planes.
Yeah.
But on mine, what?
Which one? You're talking about the Telemaster?
No,
that's a
no. I understand that was one. I was trying to think. There's what? Oh, maybe that was one of Reggie's airplanes you were flying. I don't remember. I've seen you dead stick one several times in a row.
Well, I did stick that new one of mine. The one I got at the swap meet, the little yellow one.
Maybe that's the one was that more than once though?
No, I only flew it the once.
Oh, okay.
Because it dead sticked on me, so I didn't fly it again. I didn't feel like tinkering with it the rest of the day because I was mad at it.
Did you get that fixed yet?
No.
Oh.
So, Bob, nitro, gasoline, or electric? What's your preference? Do you have one?
Gasoline.
You like the gasoline?
Yes,
Okay.
I like the
there
gas.
you go. That's great.
No, I like the gasoline stuff too. It's just unfortunate. It's down in the 40 size. They don't make a gasser that's really reliable yet and easy to run down in that size. But as soon as they do, it'll be gas for me too eventually. I'm sure.
The bigger planes. I like the motor, the actual. The glow
sound.
planes are nice.
Yep.
I mean, but the,
you can't beat the sound.
A real spark plug and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. And the gasoline, it's less mess, obviously. So
and a lot cheaper.
Well, I don't know. These days, the price of gas
It's still a lot cheaper. We don't even know what nitro is right now.
Not right now. We don't. I'm afraid to look, honestly. But luckily, I kind of stocked up on nitro when it was still reasonable.
When it was still 35 a gallon. No, 32.
Well, no, I bought that YS 2020 blend, which I can run in all my Satos also. Down at the hobby shop in St. Louis that time. I remember I bought like 4 gallons.
Oh, I wasn't with you on that one. I forgot.
No.
But how much was that though?
I want to say it was like 29. I think I paid 29 for it.
Okay, so
which is it's not great.
No, not for a gallon.
But anyway,
that's okay.
So Bob, of your airplanes, I think I know the answer to this one too. But so, do you like tricycle type landing gear or tail draggers?
Or no gear.
No gear.
Tail draggers.
Tail draggers.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just something about a tail dragger, it's classic.
Yeah.
Conventional.
There seems to be a lot cooler airplanes that are tail draggers than there are, tricycle or standard gear.
But also, the tricycle gear is okay, but when you're flying, that elevator, you got to get good ground speed to take off. That tail's going to come up. You need to keep it on the ground. Mm-hmm. And then you just know when to take it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, the tricycle adds complexity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now you got to have the steerable nose wheels, so you have to have a push rod off your rudder or a separate. I mean, it adds extra weight.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather just do away with the nose gear and put a tail wheel on it and call it good.
I don't blame you. So,
yeah, most of mine are tail draggers.
Yep. Bob, do you have a favorite airplane?
I learned that you don't have favorites. all of them are my favorites, but
It's like when you ask about your kids. Do you have a favorite kid? Really,
they're
we all do.
My favorite. Yes,
but you don't want to say it to hurt their other.
Okay, so how about
feelings.
this? Do you have an airplane that's like your go-to? Like when you only have a few minutes to prepare, or you're going to go fly the next day or whatever, and do you have an airplane it's just all reliable?
Yeah, it was a stick that you built for me.
Which one is that?
It's the 60 size Great Plains Big Stick 60.
Oh, okay, I remember that one.
ARF version. Yeah. Which we're gonna see if we can find you another one. But I get that because sticks fly awesome.
Yes,
I mean they do.
I've still never flown one.
Well, you've got.
I'm working on it. Give me time.
Well, you could have if you just fly mine.
I won't do that.
Offer it to you. Gosh darn it.
Moving on.
Bob, do you got anything you're working on right now?
No, I've got the OS profile on the S-Bach that keeps on blowing the muffler off. Yep. I haven't figured out why that is.
Yep, we're gonna figure that out.
But that's about everything else. I think I've got it under control. I've the Spitfire that we ran and we couldn't get anything out high end. I hope I've got that figured out to where you could help me tune the high end to see. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I remember. What did you find on that? I forgot.
Well, when I went to change the fuel tubes in the tank, I pulled the tube. I was going to pull the gas line off the outside, and the tube come apart off. It was probably could have been sucking air from the plastic tube.
Yeah, it wasn't a tight connection on the line going into the tank. I remember now. Yep. Yeah. So if you fix that, I bet that fixes that, and then that'll be an easy.
Yeah, I've got a few of them that I want to run that pits that I just got. And we ran one of them, but to run the other one and the Spitfire and
cool. So, I mean, I'm not going to issue the challenge, right? I'm not going to try to say, hey, you should fly everything you have this summer that's flyable. But do you have any plans or any kind of goals for the next flying season?
Yeah, I want to try to fly. I want to try to fly my big one, the big, the guy I bought it from. He built both the Challengers, and he was like, fly the small one first. So I did that, and I did a fine job.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty much saying that you can fly the small one.
Yeah, you're good to go. Yeah, on the bigger one.
Yep.
So that would be one goal for this summer then, to fly the big Challenger.
I'll have to have one of you guys come by and help me get it out of my house. But
We'd be happy to.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The bigger they are, we've said this before, the easier they fly.
Oh, yes.
But the harder it is to fly them because you just don't want to see anything happen to them.
Oh, because you're nervous. Yeah.
Like mentally difficult to fly as opposed to how hard it actually is.
Well,
to
there
fly.
you go back to checking everything. Check everything. Battery.
Exactly right.
Everything.
It's still that unseen thing that has happened to all of us that no matter how much you check, something is going to happen. And that's the part I don't like.
Yeah. No, I get that. And the bigger they are, the more spectacular the crash is. So there's that.
And the more bags you need. Oh, that is true. Anyway, well, anything else you guys want to talk about, or we about ready to get out of here?
No, Bob, do you want to give a shout out to anybody or anything like that before we sign off?
Sangamon Valley RC Flyers. I hope you're listening to it.
There we go. All right,
There
cool.
you go.
I am the safety guy this year, so no flying over the pits, no flying over the roads, and we know who I'm talking about there.
All right, so there's your warning. You know who we're talking to.
Yeah.
So no flying over the road, and don't fly over the pits.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I got.
Yeah.
All right, me too. Well, Bob, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for
I had
having
fun.
me.
We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, Bob, thanks for agreeing to talk to us on the show. It's been fun.
That's cool. Thank you.
All right, until next time, I'm Ron.
I'm Tom.
I'm Bob.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the RC Plane Lab podcast. For topic suggestions, to ask questions, or to give any feedback, connect with us at rcplanelab.com or email us direct at either ron@rcplanelab.com or tom@rcplanelab.com. You can also text us or leave us a voicemail at 818-351-9846. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast app. Until next time, may your landings be gentle.